I'll be saying something about the importance of lifelong learning. I guess I can be short because I think the group that's here will be very aware of the importance. The fact that it is a hot topic, which also is of course very clear because the European Committee is also very busy with this item, as Mrs. Jelnicka just presented. The ways of learning, I mean there's different ways of learning and they're all part of lifelong learning. So I'll say something about it, and I think Mrs. Jelnicka already mentioned a few of them in her story. The micro-credentials, and in the Netherlands we talk about edu badges, which is the way to deal with it. I mean it's overlapping the two of them. I'll say something about the dual and the part-time studies, because it's both more a recognized kind of studying, a formal studying, and the cooperation in the province of Brabant, because that's where I'm working on at the moment. The importance of lifelong learning. If you could hit the button already for me, thank you. A few words about it. I think in these days it is important to stay up to date. You have to have actual knowledge. Knowledge is changing every moment. When I'm standing here, already there is somebody that puts some new information, of course, on the internet. So you have to keep on learning anyway. You use your full potential. There's so much that you could do as an employee. You should be always trying to get new information. This is a chance that you should take, everybody in the world. Then again, also staying attractive. Stay attractive for your own employer, but also stay attractive for other employers. Because if you want to have a new job, of course, you should always think about, well, how can I still be the one that knows the new things? Making careers, well, this is very important. Be able to work until you retire, even after retiring, I guess. I mean, it's always important to stay focused on learning things and get new information. But many people in the last part, in earlier days, said something like, okay, well, it's only 5 years to go, so I don't have to learn anything anymore. But these days, that's not a fact anymore as well. In these last years, you also have to take care that you're still interesting for the work you're doing. And be self-reliant. Make your own choices. You have to be able to make your own choices. If you stay on the level that you were, you won't be doing anything anymore differently. So I think in that sense the importance is clear. And that's for the employees themselves. It's also important for the employers. It's not only something that we have to communicate with the people in general. I think employers should be aware of the fact that they are really, for them it's important to have their employees studying all the time. Because the market position could go down when their employees don't have the right knowledge. So they should be, is it working again? Oh, no, sorry, no, I thought you would like to give me something, no. The market position is in that sense very a thing that's going down as soon as your employees don't have the new up-to-date knowledge. The productivity, oh well, that's Hifker, that's a new word, it's another language. The higher, of course, a higher productivity. There's always new techniques. There's always new things to be learned. So in that sense, if you don't get these new techniques in your company, your productivity will go down, especially compared to what others are doing. And that's your market position, of course, again as well. And staying innovative has also all to do with your market position. And staying innovative means that your employees have these new knowledge. Last of all, the social perspective. Something, and I think that was in the talk of Mrs. Jelnicka very clear. This is something that we should be able to do. I mean, it's something that we, as a society, we can't say at this moment that we are not going to learn to keep on learning. We have to prevent mismatches in the labor market. We have to think about possible solutions for every domain where there's too few professionals. At the moment, especially in the bioeconomy, there is domains where we have too few professionals. If we don't do something about this, then we will go down as Europe, and we won't be in any market position towards other countries. So there's all kinds of social reasons. Social inequality. The vulnerable groups were also in the presentation before, and I think we have to give them the chance to keep on learning and to have these people coming from all places, but also within our own countries, to give them the chance to grow and to take up new positions. We are doing a project now, George and me, on in BioGovNet. I hope you'll hear lots about it, and we really are taking care as well in that project how to have these vulnerable groups, how to give them the chance to keep on learning, to do the things for the bioeconomy, for example. So there are many projects going on at the moment within Europe where we have this part of lifelong learning in the projects. It's a hot topic, and that's again, maybe it's something that I just mentioned as well. The demographic developments that we are having at the moment. Thank you. People are getting older, so we have to do it with less people mainly, lots of the time. Also, the changes where people from countries are joining us. There's also, of course, a reason why we should still give them the chance to be really integrated in our countries. So there's lots of developments. There's a shift in ideas about learning culture. That's something I really want to stress out. In the Netherlands, we've got lots of money at the moment for working on lifelong learning. Almost every fund that's going on, it says many funds, is working on lifelong learning. But the reason for that is that we have to change the whole culture around learning. People should be aware to keep on learning. And that's where the shift in ideas is growing. And to reach that, we really have a shift in the system. We need a shift in the system. We have to think about how to cooperate companies and knowledge institutes, because it's not something that only knowledge institutes are providing these courses. There's so much interesting information within the companies where there's also lots to learn. It's not like we as educational institutes have kind of the only possibility to give new information to people. Maybe it's not called courses within these companies, and it's not recognized as study points, but it is learning as well. So please also look at the companies, what we can learn from them. I think Febinol is an interesting company to talk with and see what people can learn at your place as well. And then again, our own people have to keep on learning as well. It's not like the people from universities are not, don't have to go and see the new insights. So we could go maybe to Febinol. So that's an important one. So my question would be, when was your last course? Did anybody have something like a learning course, say the last year already? Yeah? A formal one?
About artificial intelligence.
Okay, about artificial intelligence. Okay, very good. So in that sense, yeah, that's something new that we really have to learn a lot about. I can imagine that's something you want to learn about. But the question, of course, is a bit tricky. But you could say we're all learning constantly. So, but I asked for a program. So in that sense, that's something different. I was with an accreditation committee not too long ago, and this committee asked all of us as staff members, when was your last training? And we had to say, well, formal training, quite a long time ago. But informal learning, of course, we do it all the time. These days, this workshop. I mean, that's something we are really learning all the time. So in that sense, it's not like it's only the formal learning. And that's my next slide. It was in the presentation of Mrs. Janitska. So it's important to see that there's a difference between the three of them. Formal learning is where we get a certificate. Clear one, that's what we talk about most of the time. That's also what micro-credentials are about. That's recognizing your formal program, and you get the 5 ECTS or whatever, and that's in your baggage. I'll come back to that later. But there's also informal learning. And that's goal-oriented. It's less structured. I mean, and that's what we're doing. For example, at this moment, there's always curiosity with us, of course. We are. I would say I am always curious. Maybe I have to put it on to think about it from my own perspective. I want to learn. I want to see get new experiences, and you should have this intrinsic motivation to do so. Is my own opinion, and that's this learning culture that we have to change. Many people are sitting like this. Oh well, Kostas, you're sitting at that spot, but you're no, no. I mean, it was a nice example to see, but the group, as we are sitting here, we are not the examples of such people, of course. But still, I hope that we will go into that direction. And that's part of informal learning. You could also say there's social learning. Social learning, I put a picture with it with a few children. We are always learning in the intercommunication, in the interacting with other people. So it's part of informal learning is the thing that we learn by always interacting with others. And then the question would be, how much of these, how much percentage would you give to those when you look at your own, of course this is a statistical number, how much time is formal learning compared to informal learning and social learning? Does anybody want to take up the challenge to say, to put a percentage on these different, the three of them? You'll help me? Okay, thank you very much. Kostas.
I mean,
please the percentage. No,
the percentage?
Yeah.
I would say less than 10%.
No, but together they're 100%.
Together they're 100%?
Together yes, but which one is less than 10%?
10% is the formal learning.
Formal learning, 10%.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the other two?
The other two, the informal learning, it depends on the country.
Okay.
Because they go through the social media and the TV and so on and so forth.
Well, I think you read my...
If you come to Greece, for instance, informal learning on cooking, we have 80%. Because every morning we have 10 different TV sessions cooking various ways. So depends. All right? And social learning, it's something which is it's getting better right now because the people, they face common problems, particularly through the environment, and it will increase by the time.
Okay,
So
well,
this
it's
is
a nice
the
answer.
so-called social awareness. At the moment, it's 5%, to my opinion.
You saw my slides, I'm afraid.
No.
Because the 10% is accurate.
No,
it's
sorry,
really
it is my
accurate.
judgment. So good, eh?
Yeah. But of course, as I said, informal learning and social learning, of course, go together. So those percent, yes. Yeah. So in that sense, it's only 10%, as you say, the formal learning part. We are always learning. 90% of our learning is in an informal way. So it's good to know. But so that's lifelong learning in a simple way, because we do it all the time. Then again, we want to formalize it a little bit more. So that's why the European Commission started with the micro-credentials, of course. And there is a small difference between, in the Netherlands, we say you can get edu badges, and there's micro-credentials. Micro-credentials are, as just explained in a very good way, I will not repeat, a very clear way, organized way, that you get your that you can get your knowledge stated by some kind of institute, and you have something like a recognized diploma, a certificate. No, not a diploma, a certificate. And it's accredited, so it does say something. On the other hand, in the Netherlands, we also have badges in general, edu badges, which are more like also informal and not really official certificates. But for example, as a company, say Fabinol again, I mean it's easy now, you have some kind of a special expertise that's what Fabinol is very good at. And you want to show that people can come to you and they can get this knowledge, they can get this skill, they can learn it. You're not an official knowledge institute. But you could, as a company also, provide a badge, not on the edu badges side, but you can provide a badge where people also could show, oh, I did this, I know about whatever. In the Netherlands, we have now at this moment on the platform of edu badges, there's 22 universities of applied sciences and 12 universities of research universities that are putting their part of their programs on this website, and employees can go there to see which possibilities they have to learn something new. I must say that, for example, Avans, we also put some of our, say, 5 ECTS or 10 ECTS courses on this platform, but then it says if you go there, you have to be a student from Avans to click on this button. So it's still not really open to everybody, but we do put all kinds of courses already on the EduBadges platform, which are presented as micro-credentials. So EduBadges are the bigger thing. Micro-credentials are part of the EduBadges in the Netherlands. That's how we deal with it at the moment. For example, there is a course in 21st century skills, which could be very interesting for people that we think they should be the broad professionals. That's presented already on this platform. And the micro-credentials in the Netherlands are at least 3 ECTS, and at the most 30 ECTS. I think, but maybe Mrs. Janitschka, you can say something afterwards, that's not in all countries, but the Netherlands said we want to have, it shouldn't be too small, so less than 3 ECTS is like, okay, a course of only 10 hours is not something that we're going to put on it as a micro-credential. But and it shouldn't be too big, because then it's a whole year, for example, and the whole year is almost already a diploma. So in that sense, it's 3 ECTS, which is kind of 75 hours until half a year of learning. That's the way the Netherlands is doing this, and you can go there on this EduBadges platform. I didn't put the link on the slides. But when you go there, you can go there as a professional and you can see what kind of courses there are and you can enroll for these courses. Of course, it's being validated by the Knowledge Institute. So they should say, okay, this employee really has this knowledge and this can go into his backpack. It's called the digital backpack that everybody has, where it says, which courses did I do? And when you apply for a job, you can show this to your possible future employer, and you can say, okay, these courses are the ones that I have in my backpack. Please see, look at them, because I really am very interesting for you to be your new employee. So that's the way I guess this will work. It's in this digital world that we have nowadays. So something about how we deal with micro-credentials and EduBadges. Oh well, a little bit more about it. The difference between the two of them, micro-credentials and EduBadges, maybe to repeat some of them. The micro-credentials are for learning professionals in general, but the EduBadges are for everybody. So also my mother, 84 years old nowadays, could go there and say, okay, I want to learn something as well. There's formal learning, and on the micro-credentials, it's really formal. The EduBadges are also non-formal learning. Or the badges, I must say, maybe as well. So as I said, micro-credentials are really in size quite described. EduBadges can be of all sizes. The digital micro-credentials are real accredited certificates, but you also get a digital certificate with your EduBadges. And there are no conditions with the EduBadges, where the micro-credentials should fit in this frame that was presented by Mrs. Janitschka. How much time do I still have, Inga?
Because we are so relaxed.
Yes.
5 minutes, I would say. 5 minutes, I would say.
Very good. So there's this dual and part-time studies. I guess in your countries this is also something that's happening very often, but we're also looking at new ways to learn, because some students really want to learn in the part-time way or in the dual way. I don't know whether you all know the difference, but I just wanted to clear out the difference between the two. In the part study, you combine a job study, but there's no educational connection. It doesn't have to be an educational connection. Your job could be something completely different from the study that you're doing. So say that you are full-time working in a company that's within the tourist business. You say, okay, but I want to learn something about the bioeconomy, and you want to do a study, so you can do it. And you have, for example, you should be be studying 20 hours a week. Besides a full-time work is quite a challenge, but there are people doing this. I mean, that's something that people take up this challenge to really get the chance to do something completely different. So that's the part-time studies. And you do get a normal diploma from this course at the end, which is the same at the dual system, because you also have the normal study that you also would have in the full-time studies. But then again, you combine really a job and a study. So it has even a paper to be signed by the student and the company and the Knowledge Institute. The three of them have sign a paper in which it states how we will work together to have this, to give this chance to this student to learn at his working place, to learn within school, and so he or she is really saying, I'm committed, I will do this, and in that sense get some money from the company in the years that he or she is studying. So that's the dual system. You learn really on the job. And I've been coordinating the dual system for the Netherlands for one study, and I've been a teacher in the part-time studies. And I must say that especially in these part-time studies, I have great, how do you say, I would say admire. I admire these people, but that's not maybe the word. But it's great that they have they put so much time in this. Partly, as some of you know, I'm not a professional from bioeconomy background, so I did it partly in the nursing department, and I can tell you those are almost all women. That's not new information, but they were studying 20 hours a week. They had a job in a hospital or whatever for full time, and they had at home something like a family that had to be run as well, because the male, their partners not always took up all the things that had to be done at home. So it was like a great challenge for them. But they got the diploma in 4 years, like it was written, and that was great. I mean, it's something extra. So the last slide. Within my province where I'm working, it's put here in red. That's the province of Brabant in the Netherlands. There's a cooperation nowadays, and I'm coordinating that cooperation. So I'm in the middle of it to put people together, and it's towards, I must say, energy transition. But energy transition is, of course, very closely connected to the whole bioeconomy as well. And in it, there are 6 vet schools. There are 4 universities of applied sciences in this province, and there's 2 universities. And they're all people from all these different knowledge institutes are combining their efforts nowadays, and we are thinking about what's happening with within your institution, and how can we take care that we are not all doing the same things, that we're all not all thinking about the same courses for lifelong learning, because this is really a cooperation in line with lifelong learning. It's called LLO Katalysator, that's the funding behind it. It's lifelong development, but Dutch for development starts with an O. And in this LLO Katalysator, we are really going for projects that will make this work, that we really cooperate and put the right courses on the agenda, and that we can help people to keep learning, to put some micro credentials on the agenda. So now we start with having trust in each other. That's of course a start always with such a cooperation. But in October already we want to put some proposals, to send in some proposals. So we have to work very fast, and we are now already thinking about which items to take up and to do this together. And I think that's something that you really have to do. You should cooperate, and that's the system innovation that should be behind it as well. And now it's only a cooperation of knowledge institutes. But then again, there's also going to be some companies that will join us. And they also will tell how they can help in really educate the professionals in the lifelong learning experiences. So, well, I hope this will work, and this will be a good practice that I will be working on for the coming years. That's my story.
Thank you, Han. Thanks a lot.